In this session, we are going to have a small glance about some of the important points regarding the group 15 elements. Here, most of the objective questions are being covered in few areas like occurrence and the introduction part. Then they are going for the oxides of nitrogen, and they are going to question much about the allotropes of the phosphorus and the halides of the phosphorus. I'll give you a screenshot sharing in the group later about the weightage of each topic. See this group 15 when you are reading the NCERT textbook. So for example 7.1 topic is there. Topic wise you read. Then you try to get bits from the topic wise, that will be helping you a little. Now coming for this group 15, everyone knows already this topic is already taught. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth are the elements of this group. We know the occurrence, nitrogen occurs in 78% of the volume in the air. Whereas the phosphorus occurs in the form of phosphate, phosphate, Ca3PO4 twice. And if we increase the number of molecules like Ca9, this will become, generally we can make this one as a thrice. We can make this value as the thrice because it is going to combine with the calcium fluoride or hepatite family. This is occurring in the hepatite family. So down the group we know what is happening. Children? Down the group, non-metallic nature decreases. What nature decreases? Non-metallic nature decreases. Means metallic nature increases. Here this symbol is for down the group, and top to bottom, here we can speak down the group. First we can vary this one. Down the group, the non-metallic nature is decreasing. Hence, at the starting the element what is present, nitrogen is present. It is highly electronegative element. Due to the small size, nitrogen is having high electronegativity. Nitrogen is having very high electronegativity, and due to its high electronegativity, it is showing some different behavior from the remaining elements. Here we are having a small introduction with the tabulated data in the textbook. You must read this tabulated data regarding their electronic configuration, ionization enthalpy. See this group elements of group 15, they are having a general electronic configuration of NS2 NP3. At times these are also asked. Their general electronic configuration, from that we can derive the electronic configuration. How many electrons an orbital can occupy? Means yes, it is having 2 orbitals to be occupied. P is having 3 orbitals, everyone knows that one. So if you see nitrogen, 2s2 2p3, I am not mentioning helium, everyone knows this one. So for nitrogen, how many orbitals are available, children? For nitrogen only 4 orbitals are available. Hence for it nearby d orbitals are not available. So due to the lack of d orbitals nearby it is able to form only 4 bonds. Again in the 4 bonds, 3 bonds will be doing and 1 will be in the lone pair. Due to the presence of the lone pair, it will be having the basic nature. And here we want the main word called as the oxidation state. Generally this nitrogen shows higher oxidation states in its oxidizer, like N2O5. Already we worked with this one. What is the oxidation state of this N2O5? In this, the nitrogen oxidation state is the +5. Even though that is showing higher oxidation state, here from some compounds like nitric acid that undergoes disproportionate, means where you can find an oxidation state of +2, +4 in the compounds. But down the group when you are going, the bismuth will not undergo disproportionation. Does not undergo disproportionation reaction. And keep in mind, higher the oxidation state, its acidic nature will be more. its acidic nature is more. Higher the oxidation state, acidic nature is more. Very important concept because they will give oxides of these all group elements. Means higher the oxidation state, acidic nature will be more. Or you can link up it another topic like when electronegativity is more, then also when electronegativity is more, then also acidic nature will be more. Then also acidic nature will be more. So at times they will compare to the group elements like they will give the oxides of nitrogen, they will give the oxides of phosphorus, they will give the oxides of arsenic, they will give the oxides of antimony, and they will give the oxides of bismuth for you. So whatever oxide they had given, don't forget in the given set of oxides you find the central element. If the central element once you see in all this, or the central element nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. So electronegativity when it is more, obviously it will have higher acidic nature. So these properties the textbook you must go through, children. Atomic radius, ionic radius I am not explaining. Coming for the ionization enthalpy. See, this nitrogen is having very strong bond, that's having a 3 bonds between this one. 3 bonds between this one. So due to the triple bond, it's having high ionization enthalpy. It's having high ionization enthalpy. And it is able to form many compounds. Like these all groups are reacting with hydrogen because hydrogen reaction is very important in this entire concept. So let us see here how do these are going to react with the hydrogen. How do these are going to react with the hydrogen? These are going to react with the hydrogen to form the corresponding hydrides. So coming to these hydrides, NH3, PH3, ASH3, bismuth hydride. These are the hydrides now, right? So many points are there regarding these hydrides. The first thing is their stability. Stability means what? Which is more stable. See, nitrogen size is very small. Phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. Very simple logic, children. Nitrogen, hydrogen are having very strong bond with a small radius, whereas the bismuth, which is being very large, the bond length is more. Hence, the nitrogen will not be bonded very strongly towards the bismuth. So, what do they will have? They will have less stability in the nature. So, coming for the stability order, nitrogen is least stable than phosphorus hydride, which is less stable than the arsenic hydride, which is less stable than the antimony hydride, which is less stable than the bismuth hydride. Means this I am sorry. Stability order. Now this is bismuth hydride is least stable. See, bismuth hydride is the least stable because here the atomic radius is increasing, so hydrogen can be given out very easily. So bismuth hydride is the least stable. Least stable means they can readily loss of the hydrogen. The topic we are linking as the reducing agent. When a substance can readily lose the hydrogen, we say it's a very strong reducing agent. Now the order comes like this one: NH3, PH3, ASH3, antimony H3, and bismuth hydride. Which is a strong reducing agent means the one that is readily losing the hydrogen. Is a very strong reducing agent. So down the group, what is happening? Reducing nature is increasing. And once you see their boiling point, this is very important concept, children. Boiling point. For objective, this is very important. What is meant by boiling point? Generally, these liquids or gases will have the boiling points. If you steadily observe, down the group, boiling point must increase. How do the boiling point must increase? Boiling point must increase down the group. In this method, boiling point must increase. But this NH3, that what we are speaking every time, NH3, it is having high electronegativity. What is it having? High electronegativity. Due to this high electronegativity, it is involved in the hydrogen bonding. It is involved in the hydrogen bonding. It is involved in the hydrogen bonding. Due to its high hydrogen bonding, its boiling point is more. Boiling point is more. So now we can expect, let us say generally how we used to give the boiling point, we used to give the boiling point in this method, right? Means top to bottom boiling point will increase. Now see, boiling point of nitrogen is more, we are saying. In textbook also they mentioned boiling point of NH3 is more than the pH3. So pH3 boiling point will be lesser than the hydrogen. This is the boiling point of pH3, this is the boiling point of the NH3. Now can you assume like its boiling point is more than the arsenic, which is more than the phosphorus. Boiling point of ammonia is more than the arsenic hydride, which is more than the phosphorus hydride. Then follows the remaining. Like this is the fourth position, this is the fifth position. Because one of the question is going to be given in many times. Arrange the following in the increasing order of the boiling point. So if you arrange among these three, NH3 boiling point is more than the arsenic hydride, which is more than the pH3. In textbook how it is given, pH3 is having lower boiling point because it does not have hydrogen bonding. So more than the NH3, we will have the antimony hydride. Next we will have the bismuth hydride. So keep in mind about the stability, reducing nature, boiling point of these hydrates. From the hydrates some questions are going to be given. And after these hydrates, we know how the elements are reacting with the oxygen. E2O3 and E2O5 type of oxides they are forming. Already we had pointed out here the oxidation state. What will be there? Acidic nature will be more. So those points you can read from the NCERT textbook. Now let me give you some other important points, like when you see here oxidation state topic regarding the normal elements nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, oxidation states. Which among the nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. Generally down the group plus 3 oxidation state stability will increase. Why the plus 3 oxidation state stability is increasing? Because of inert pair effect. What is meant by inert pair effect? When the d orbitals and f orbitals are intervening. When the d orbitals and f orbitals are intervening or coming in between, they have poor shielding. Due to this poor shielding, the radius of the atom decreases. So the inner core s orbitals are much strongly attracted by the nucleus. And those two electrons that are present in the s orbital are not involved in the bonding. Such kind of effect, what do we call as the inert pair effect? We had already given in the class, so I am not giving any dictations now. So down the group for bismuth, what is the highly stable oxidation state? Bismuth is going to form a highly oxidation state of +3. Generally, these elements will show the different oxidation states like -3, +3 and +5. For phosphorus also we can see the oxidation states like -3, +3 and +5. So once you read regarding those concepts that are there in the textbook. So let me highlight some points here regarding the oxides of nitrogen. Very important points to learn regarding the oxides of nitrogen. Very important. One question will be there compulsorily from this oxides of nitrogen. What are the various oxides of nitrogen that you know? N2O, oxides of nitrogen. What are the various oxides of nitrogen you know? N2O, NO, N2O3 and O2, N2O4, and N2O5. N2O5. In this, once you see these N2O3 and NO2, it is showing a blue color and this is showing a brown colors. Remaining all are colorless. But these have characteristic color of blue and the brown. And coming for the nature of these are only the neutral. Remaining all oxides of this nitrogen are acidic. Remaining all oxides of this nitrogen are the acidic. And coming for the stars means what we can speak in another word, we can say which are paramagnetic. See the element or the compound that are having a unpaired electron, they are paramagnetic in nature. Once you study the diagram, you will find a single electron. I had already raised this point. Two of these oxides are paramagnetic. You search and you find, you will get it once you see the diagram. So these are the very important points about the oxides of nitrogen. And you just have a glance regarding the preparation of these oxides of nitrogen. So instead of speaking a lot of time, let us do some objective questions here. Let's see here. We already know in the PUC level also we had learned. What did we learn? Nitrogen due to small size it is capable of forming p-pi bonding due to small size and lack of d orbitals. But in the higher elements like phosphorus, it can form a d-pi bonding also. So first bit is the very simple one. Which element shows p-pi bonding? In the nitrogen family, if the question is there, nitrogen family means nitrogen, option A arsenic, nitrogen, phosphorus and antimony. So blindly we can go through the p-pi bonding is shown in the nitrogen bonding. Large difference in boiling points is observed in. Large difference in the boiling points. I already suggested you to read the textbook notes, right? Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. So you can see here, whenever we go from nitrogen and phosphorus, nitrogen is a non-metal and phosphorus is a non-metal. But arsenic, antimony and bismuth. Here from arsenic onwards, we can find the d orbitals, 3d, 10, you can see here. Due to the presence of the d orbital, the atomic radius is decreasing. That we have learned as contraction, Lanthanide contraction. When the atomic radius is decreasing, what will happen? The size of the atom is decreasing. Means in a given space, the number of atoms will be increasing. Means density will be increasing. Obviously, what will increase? Boiling point will increase. So a large difference you can observe where the size decreases. Means in the case of nitrogen and phosphorus, there are no d orbitals, but you can come across in the arsenic. Antimony, it is having f orbital. F orbital will be showing very poor shielding. So whenever the d orbital and f orbital are changing, means like nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic and antimony. From here to here they have d orbital, here there are f orbital. So due to the presence of the very poor shielding f orbital, their boiling point will be expected more. Means between this arsenic and antimony, due to the presence of this poor shielding effect, we can have a large difference in their boiling points. So you can find in the textbook the boiling point values no need to remember. The reason you must remember due to the intervening d and f orbitals. Which is true regarding nitrogen. Less nitrogen. Less electronegativity. Is nitrogen less electronegativity in that group? No, 3.0. Very high electronegativity in that group. High ionization enthalpy. Which is true. Yeah. Ionization enthalpy of nitrogen is very high. Good. D orbitals are available. Is the nitrogen having d orbitals? No, nitrogen is not having d orbitals. Ability to form p-pi bonding. Here, two options are correct. What is that? B and D are also correct in this case. Now coming with, in which does the nitrogen shows higher oxidation state? How to find out the oxidation state, children? For example, you take N2H4. We don't know the oxidation state of nitrogen. Let us say consider as 2x, or down I will write. Down I will go through it will be easy for us. 2x plus 4 into plus 1 is equal to 0 because on this molecule charge is not there. So 2x plus 4 is equal to 0. X plus 4 by 2 is equal to 0, or x plus 2 is equal to 0, or x is equal to minus 2. So oxidation state of nitrogen in this case is the minus 2. Coming for NH3. So the same procedure you can do. X plus 3 is equal to 0, or x is equal to plus 3. And N3H, 3 of the x plus 1 is equal to 0, or x plus 1 by 3 is equal to 0, or x is equal to minus 1 by 3. And then NH2OH, x plus 2 had directly written regarding the hydrogen, then minus oxygen means 2, here plus 1 for hydrogen. So 2 and 2 going, x plus 1 or x is equal to minus 1. So which is having a very highest oxidation state, means we can see here negative oxidation state is regarding minus 1 by 3. Whenever we see any compound the higher oxidation state, they will be more acidic. See children, here we are having one of the continuity question for the previous one. Most acidic hydrogen of nitrogen is NH3, N2H4, N3H and NH2Cl. So we had already seen the higher oxidation state will have more acidic in nature. So when we had solved, we got minus 1 by 3, hence it is having the more acidic nature. Which is the more acidic nature? N3H. Higher the oxidation state, acidic nature will be more. Which is the most acidic compound among the following? Arsenic pentoxide, antimony pentoxide, bismuth pentoxide and N2O5. See here, in the case of all the oxygens are same the same group, then you must remember the regarding the electronegativities. Among this all, which is having highest electronegativity? Nitrogen is having highest electronegativity. When electronegativity is more, it is having more acidic nature. When electronegativity is more, it is having a more acidic nature. So after all these concepts, you read the textbook one by one, you must follow children. Then it went for manufacturing, that's what dinitrogen. A topic was continued, that's called dinitrogen. How the dinitrogen is prepared? Many reactions are there. But pure nitrogen is obtained from the azide. Do you remember how the barium azide on heating, it formed the barium metal and the nitrogen gas, pure nitrogen. Along with that, many reactions are there. From that, I had taken one of the reaction. Gaseous product by decomposition of ammonium dichromatids. Gaseous product by decomposition of ammonium dichromatids. What is the decomposition reaction of ammonium dichromate, children? Ammonium dichromate on decomposition, it is forming nitrogen gas. Nitrogens are there here, 2 nitrogens are there, and how many hydrogens are there? Around 8 nitrogens are there. We can speak 4 water molecules are formed. And how many chromiums are there? 2 chromiums are there. They are forming Cr2O3. So the gaseous product in this reaction is the N2. Write down. Have a glance over these properties before you go for the exam, children, regarding the hydrates especially. So the bond angle or the basic strength or the thermal stability decreases from top to bottom. Like NH3 is more stable than PH3, which is more stable than arsenic hydride, which is more stable than antimony hydride, which is more stable than BiH3. Everyone knows this basic strength, but these also you must keep in mind. What? Bond angle and the dermal stability. Dermal stability also we know, but we must remember that put the bond angle also. Down the group, bond angle decreases. Okay. Then boiling point. Boiling point. That is already learned. NH3 is having more boiling point than arsenic hydride, which is more the boiling than pH3. Before the antimony and bismuth are there following. Melting point. This is also very important segment. Melting point, once you see, the NH3 is the involving in the hydrogen bonding. Only due to that hydrogen, strong hydrogen bonding, it is having very high melting point even than the antimony hydride. Even than the antimony hydride. Coming for reducing nature, we know top to bottom reducing nature increases as the stability decreases. So these are the main points regarding the hydrates. No doubt we are having another next point to see. Here afterwards what I will do, children, there are subtopics now, 7.2, 7.3 and so on. So each topic wise I will give bits instead of mixing all the bits and doing so. So under this 7.3 regarding ammonia, which will release NH3 on reaction with NaOH. On reaction with NaOH. Options are given like ammonium sulfate, ethylene diamine tetraacetate, hydroxylamine and triethylamine. You must practice textbook equations and get the answer, which is incorrect. NH3 has sp2 hybridization. NH3 has sp2 hybridization. We had clearly learned in the case of NH3 what is the hybridization of central atom nitrogen, sp3, but here they mentioned sp2. And what is the shape of that NH3? Pyramidal shape, is it not? So here sp2 hybridization is given. This is an incorrect statement, we know. NH3 acts as Lewis base. Yes, some statements will be helping us to solve the next answers also. So NH3 acts as a very strong Lewis base because due to the presence of the lone pair of electrons. NH3 is soluble in water. After being soluble only, then it is forming ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium hydroxide. Don't forget the remaining hydrates are there now. Phosphorus hydride, arsenic hydride, antimony hydride, bismuth hydride. They are insoluble in water. Insoluble in water because it does not form hydrogen bonding. It does not form hydrogen bonding. NH3 is a pyramidal. Yes, we know this. So the statement is the sp2 hybridization. And the question is ammonia reacts with excess of chlorine to give. So you please find out this reaction. Excess of chlorine and limited of chlorine. Excess and limited of chlorine. These type of reactions are very important. You can see in NCl3 and HCl, N4 and NH4Cl, NCl3 and NH4Cl, N2 and HCl. You practice the equations, then only you drive the answers for me. See here, children, the questions from the topic 7.4 there are chosen here are like laughing gases. Oxides of nitrogen we had already seen how many types of oxides of nitrogen are there. Among the first oxide of nitrogen is called N2O. N2O we call the one as the laughing gas. Very simple type of question. The oxide that appears blue in color. Which oxide appears blue in color? You go through the table. I will not give all the answers here. You go through the table. Already I have suggested in the starting of this video. There will be only two colors of oxides. One is blue color, another one is the brown color. Then heating of NH4 and O3 gives. See the balanced equations and get the answer from this. Option A N2O, option B NO, option C NO2 and option D O2. Most acidic among the following. You can see the oxidation states of all these. What are the oxidation states of all these, children? In the case of N2O, the oxidation state of nitrogen is +1, here +3, here +4 and here +5. We already got the point. Whenever there is a higher oxidation state, acidic nature will be more. So, which will be more acidic? +5 showing oxidation state will be more acidic. Paramagnetic oxides are very good question, right? From the textbook, you find out for the objective it is very important to be highlighted. The oxides of nitrogen that is having unpaired electrons, that is a paramagnetic in nature. One set is there. Find out this set among these four. N2O is not obtained by heating. NO2 is not obtained by heating. Generally, if you take the silver nitrate, potassium nitrate, copper nitrate and lead nitrate, this potassium is called as the lower metal, but the remaining silver, copper and lead, they are higher metals. Whenever we heat a higher metal oxide, nitrogen dioxide will be formed. What will be formed? Nitrogen dioxide will be formed. But heating a lower metal oxide will not form nitrogen dioxide. For example, if you see 2PbNO3 twice, if we heat, here 2 PBs are there, they are forming 2 PbO, and nitrogens are how many? 2N2 4. It is forming 4 moles of nitrogen dioxide gas, and one oxygen molecule will be formed. Regarding with lead, and coming with copper nitrate, if you heat this one, copper nitrate, this will also form copper oxide. So what is the forming? Copper oxide. Nitrogens are 4 in number, and then there is forming nitrogen dioxide gas and the oxygen gas. And if we have a glass with silver nitrate, with this, I am writing here this side. Lead we have heated, copper we have heated, we are heating potassium nitrate. On heating potassium nitrate, this will form 2 moles of potassium nitrogen dioxide and the oxygen gas. With copper nitrate we had already done, no? Silver nitrate, if you see, if you heat the silver nitrate, this will decompose to give metallic silver, nitrogen dioxide gas and the oxygen gas. So in which case we are not getting NO2, means we are not getting NO2 in the case of lower metal nitrates like the potassium nitrate. I have a next concept here, children, regarding 7.5, that's called as nitric acid. The compound formed during Brown ring test. Here nitrates, NO3 minus, they are oxidizing the ferrous to ferric. And the form NO will be further reacting with FeH2O6 to form a complex. That is very clearly given in the classwork notes. You parallelly compare and get the correct answer regarding this Brown ring test. When copper is heated with concentrated nitric acid, it produces what? Here many options are there. Whenever we have this copper metal, you must have a glance regarding how does copper reacts with dilute nitric acid and how does copper reacts with concentrated nitric acid. Then again you must have a glance regarding how does the zinc reacts with the dilute nitric acid and how does the zinc reacts with the concentrated nitric acid. See here, children, regarding the topic number 7.6. Another topic number 7.6, some questions are given here. Sulfuryl chloride reacts with white phosphorus to give. You search the balanced reaction there, and it is having some options here. You find the correct option. Number of sigma bonds in P4O10. Actually, what is this P4O10? How do the structure will be there? We had already seen in the NEET examination point of view preparation. P4O10. It is having a bridge oxygen. It is having bridge oxygens between here. This structure is not there in our textbook, children. So P4O10, once you see, this phosphorus are connected with the bridging oxygens. So these type of questions are very important here, because phosphorus and oxygen is connected by phosphorus connected by one oxygen. Such kind of oxygen is called as the bridging oxygen. Here we can find one, and here phosphorus and phosphorus are joined by one more oxygen, it's a second oxygen, bridging head oxygen, and phosphorus are joined by another oxygen, third one, phosphorus and phosphorus, fourth one. Here phosphorus and this phosphorus are joined by one of the oxygen, fifth one. Phosphorus and another oxygen, phosphorus are joined by another oxygen called sixth oxygen. So totally, how many bridging oxygens are there in the P4O10? This is what very important for this NEET examination point of view. And next we are having phosphorus pentahalide. Topic number 7.7 is phosphorus pentahalide. In the textbook point of view, only you must read. After reading the textbook only, please do this all. Without reading textbook and depending upon only this problems is useless. You must cover the whole textbook point to point. So without having any problem for this revision, I am taking group wise. Only group 15 is very big. Remaining groups are smaller concepts only. Now coming for the phosphorus pentahalides. Phosphorus pentahalides. PCl5. Its structure is very important, children. Here pentagonal, trigonal, bipyramidal. How is the structure here? Trigonal, bipyramidal. Pyramidal structure here. These are axial chlorines and these are the equatorial chlorines. In order to overcome the lone pair repulsion, axial chlorine bond length will be more. Axial chlorine bond length will be more than the equatorial chlorines. Regarding the reactions, you please go through the textbook. Here we are having the next very most important is the oxo acids of phosphorus. What are we having? The oxo acids of phosphorus. That's topic number 7.8. Topic number 7.8. In these oxo acids of phosphorus, we have H3PO2, H3PO3, H3PO4, and so on. Here coming to the structures, P double bonded, already two oxygens are there, one oxygen is used up, another oxygen is having one hydrogen, and here the remaining two single hydrogens are there. In the case of H3PO3, OH and only one direct hydrogen is there. H3PO4, P double bonded OH and the OH. What the important point we must identify is when the number of phosphorus single bond hydrogens are more. When the number of phosphorus single bond hydrogens are more, it is going to act as a very strong reducing agent. How is this going to act, children? This is going to act as a very strong reducing agent. So whatever bit you cover or not, this bit you must not exclude. So based on this bit, or in the phosphorus family, oxo acids of phosphorus and the allotropes of phosphorus, we will be seeing some questions here regarding 7.7 topic. I will upload regarding the questions of 7.8. When you are reading the allotropes of phosphorus, please remember these points. Very short we can make it instead of reading the whole passages there. White phosphorus and red phosphorus. We have alpha and beta also, but regarding the white phosphorus, it's a translucent solid, white translucent solid. Regarding the red phosphorus, it is iron gray luster. Regarding this white phosphorus, is poisonous, whereas non-poisonous, soluble, especially they will ask solubility. White phosphorus is insoluble in water but soluble in the carbon disulfide, whereas the red phosphorus is insoluble in both white water as well as the carbon disulfide. It does not show any glowing dark, it does not show glowing dark red phosphorus, but this is chemiluminescence. There is an angular strain of 60 degrees here in case of P4 molecule, and this is highly unstable. There is no angular strain, so this is more stable. Which is more stable? No, red phosphorus is more stable, hence this is a non-poisonous in nature. Now coming for our PCl5. Generally the PCl5 occurs in the form of a dimeric structure. How do that will occur in the form of the dimeric structure? Dimeric structure means what? P2 Cl10. P2 Cl10. It dimerizes. In the dimer, it occurs as PCl6 cation, PCl6 cation, and PCl4 anion. In this ionic form, this will be occurring. And my suggestion for you is the best questions will be given from topic number 7.9. These all questions I will upload in the group. You must do and solve, because writing all questions on the board is not good and not useful. I will upload the question, you try on solving the question, followed by I will give the key also for you. Thank you, children.